want to start with this. We've talked a lot about this. And for those who don't know, Marcus was a basketball player before he played football, loves basketball, and has been a part of a lot of healthy debate on this program over the last few weeks about Michael Jordan. What was your number one takeaway as you watched this thing conclude last night?
Gee, it was magnificent, first of all, and kudos to everybody that was responsible for putting that documentary together. I think it's the best documentary I've ever seen. But I think for me, the takeaway is, first of all, you know, when you're 15 years old in '98, like I was, you don't really realize the magnitude of what Michael Jordan was, or the Chicago Bulls, and what it meant in ushering in this era of basketball. And I think it was revealing and telling, and hearing David Stern, the late great David Stern, talk about how Jordan ushered in the popularity of basketball. And you understand that now from the continuation of not only shoe sales, but who he is iconically, who he is to the sport of basketball, and revered as the greatest basketball player of all time by the large majority of everybody that pays attention to basketball. But for me, it was able to go behind the scenes and really see the career path, see from the beginning all the way up until obviously the final shot against Russell. So it was magnificent for me to see. And then the stories around it. The evolution, you know, I think, Greeny, something that a lot of people didn't talk about is seeing Dennis Rodman's documentary that ESPN was able to do, and then foreshadowing that into the Chicago Bulls and seeing how he acted and the things that he did as well. But when it comes to MJ, man, the argument for the greatest of all time will always be there for me, and him and LeBron. But I don't want to spill this moment with LeBron. Michael Jordan was unbelievable, fantastic, the ultimate competitor, and I can really understand when I hear guys that were of age during that era. Now I understand what they say about his competitive nature.
And the competitiveness is one thing. There are a lot of people who are competitive. He was particularly so, but probably not more so than any other person that ever lived. But the combination of that with the mental toughness and confidence is what I've tried to explain to people. Again, he did it so much better than I've tried to do it in the 30 years since I covered him. But when he said, or when it was said of him last night, how can you think about missing a shot you haven't even taken yet? That is, in its own way, I think, one of the more profound statements I've ever heard about sports as it pertains to things beyond sports. Michael Jordan never feared missing a shot he hadn't taken, because in his mind, it was much likelier that if he took it, he was going to make it.
No doubt, G. And when you think about that, I couldn't help but think about when Kobe had his 4 air balls, and how much parallel that story came with MJ talking about you can't think about the ones you miss. But also, Greeny, when you make a lot of them, you ain't worried about missing.
He made more than his share. There's no question.